some companies have 3 people and they work unbelievable and they make $60,000 a month. Everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone's on top of it. And then you go and see like some companies have like 45 people and no one knows what they're doing. Business is failing financially. They're running around like headless chickens. And it made me start thinking, what makes some companies successful and some companies are literally like headless chickens? And it all came down to operations and systems.
I'm Tiffany Gilliland, your host of the Business Bravery podcast. I'm an Australian business and mindset coach and marketing service provider with 13 years of experience in online marketing. I help coaches sign clients and grow their business with more confidence and less stress using my Business Bravery framework. It's all about simple steps that actually work so you can build a profitable business that lights you up and feels sustainable. Before we dive in, I want to invite you to join me for Brave Coffee Connections, my free monthly Zoom gathering for coaches and service-based business owners. It's not another networking pitch fest. Instead, you'll connect through powerful questions, small group conversations, and a short visualization to set you up for the month ahead. These deeper connections often lead to collaborations, referrals, and even new clients. Find out more about this free monthly Zoom gathering at tiffanygstudios.com/connections. That's tiffanygstudios.com/connections. I'd love to see you there. Today's guest is Olga from Next Day Executive. She's a systems strategist and operations consultant who helps online businesses reduce chaos through simple, sustainable systems. From client management to team workflows, her work is about creating structure that supports growth without adding pressure. In this episode, we talk about what business overwhelm actually looks like, that constant feeling of being behind, and how the right systems can create real relief. Olga also shares her own brave moments, hiring her first full-time team member and setting a bold goal to 10x her business through stronger operations and clear SOPs. If you're a coach or service provider craving more clarity and calm as you grow, this conversation will resonate. With that said, this is an amazing episode and I can't wait to share with you Olga's stories of business bravery, past, present, and future. Now, who's ready for some business bravery inspiration? Let's dive in. Welcome everybody. I am super excited to talk to this week's guest, the amazing Olga from Next Day Executive. I'm super excited to dive into all things bravery and systems to help our businesses, both for coaches and service-based business owners. I'm super excited to get into everything today. Olga, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and who you help.
Thank you so much for having me, Tiff. I'm really happy to be here. I'm Olga. I'm a systems strategist and operations consultant. So I basically, in a nutshell, I go into businesses and I help them systemize their business, whether that's kind of getting the founder out of the day-to-day grind, whether it's to improve the way their team works. It really depends on what the company needs. But the best way to describe it is if you have chaos, I come in and end the chaos and put like a systemized calmness in like a business so it can run better and smoother and the owner doesn't stress like crazy.
Okay, all right. So give us an example. If you have chaos, what does chaos look like, or what could chaos look like for those of us who might be in the chaos may not recognize the chaos, right?
100%. I'd say the very first thing that I would say is if you wake up in the morning and as a business owner and you are like, I have so much to do and I have no freaking idea where to start, to me, that would be a place of chaos because you're kind of starting your day with a fight or flight mode instead of being like, okay, this is what I'm doing for the first 4 hours. This is what my team is doing. I know what's going on. I'm on time with everything. That to me is kind of the biggest sign of really being in that chaotic mode where you're not looking at a bigger picture of how to grow the business or how to manage it. You're looking at like the hour to hour, what fires do I need to put out today? So I think out of like all the examples, I think that's probably the best one to give. That would, everyone kind of goes through it at one stage or the other.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I have to say, like, I know for myself, once I put some systems in, just even like, okay, these certain days, like, are client days. These days are for my content and my podcast, and just all of that just really helps to at least like narrow down the focus on certain days, and yeah, definitely helps me.
100%. And it's good to have that structure, and I feel like more business owners should have that. Whether it's a structure that you don't work past 6 p.m. no matter what. Like that's a structure in itself. And I highly encourage owners that I work with, have a deadline with yourself. Like, just because you're free doesn't mean we have to work. Now, this is me giving myself advice too, because sometimes I'm like, oh, work has to work, so I can just sacrifice my personal time. But that also catches up on us, right? That catches up on how we show up, how our mental health is, how our relationships is with people around us. So structure is very important. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know like you definitely like focus on more of like the business systems and onboarding and offboarding and all of that kind of thing too. But I guess like for me, I just sort of think about systems in this strange way of just like, oh, I have a system for certain days I do this. And to me, like, yes, it's a structure, but I guess in my mind, it's sort of a system of here's
Yeah.
what I do. And it just helps organize the chaos. Because otherwise, I was doing all kinds of things all over the place and burning myself out a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's so true, because if we don't have that strict structure with ourselves, we can just wake up one day and be like, "Oh, I think I'll do marketing, or I think I'll talk to clients today." And then when you don't know what you're doing, you're wasting time and energy in all different areas. Where if you come into the day, be like, "Okay, this is my job today. This is what I have to do." You stick to your plan, and then you know that everything on your goal list, it will get done, because you've pre-prepped yourself to get it done, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I 100% agree. So, yeah. So tell us a little bit
Good.
more about brave things that you are working on in your business at the moment.
I think there's a few things that are really I'm pushing myself out of the comfort zone this year. One of them being fully kind of employing, I just hired my first full-time staff member. So that's huge.
Yeah, that's so exciting. Oh, I
It
love
is,
that.
it's exciting, but it's also nerve-wracking in a way, because up until now I've had VAs, I've hired video editors, social media managers, but they've all always been on a contract base or on a limited
Yeah.
scope of work, where now it's like, okay, I just hired this person for 40 hours a week. I have to make sure that I have like I do my part in my business to make sure it grows. So this person now is relying on their lifestyle and their life on me. So it kind of puts a little bit of pressure, but it also makes me want to work that much harder, because it's not just me relying on it anymore. It's like
Mm,
other
yeah.
people. So I think that's the number one brave thing I think I've done this week. And also I think overall this year I'm just not playing small anymore. It's we tend to kind of keep ourselves in like a bracket of safety. And for me, it's like my income level. Like, it's very hard for me up until now to kind of pass through a certain income level, because I always thought, okay, if I pass through this level, that means I'm going to be twice as stressed. Where that's not true, because I have more people that can help me. I have better clients that I'm working with. So for me, one of the brave kind of things is 10xing my business, which is wild to say, but that's my mission this year.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's amazing. I love how like you've hired someone, you've got the plan for the 10x in your business. What activities are changing? Like what actually like on a day-to-day level, what different things are you doing to like do to work on that 10x plan or to even make sure you've got the money to keep your person who's hired paid?
So I think for me, it's really important to get myself out of the every single decision that's being made for next day, because right now everything is on me. The content approval from the video editor is on me. The content from my copywriter is on me. So my plan over the next really week or two is to get myself out of that being the decision maker, and train my new staff to kind of take that pressure off me. So just because I'm not available, to approve a content post, I'm confident that the person I hired with SOPs can make that decision on my behalf. So that's really the main thing, is getting myself out of like everything, doing everything, to being able to like just focus on the high level stuff that actually needs me as the owner, instead of kind of those little things that just keeps the business running. So I think that's going to be the biggest shift. And I'm kind of scared, because I'm a bit of a control freak, but I think
Yeah.
it's needed to be able to kind of go to the next level. Otherwise, like, I'm stuck in the
Yeah.
grind.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm on a similar kind of path and trajectory. I'm about to hire another part-time assistant, but she's going to be helping me with client work and with
Mm.
my like podcast, like the content side of the podcast editing. So,
Love
um,
it. Love
yeah,
it.
and but for that, like I had to get a whole bunch of systems in place, and I still am because like we kind of use some like chat GPT bots, and I had to like reprogram all that so it actually worked, so that somebody who like so that my brain and my decision making sort of exists somewhere, and then pairing that
Yeah.
up with somebody who's suitably trained and all that in social media and everything. So yeah,
100%. Well, that's very exciting for you as well. How do you
yeah.
find, like, from your perspective, like, how do you find expanding your team? Like, is it still nerve-wracking, or because you've done it for so long, you've kind of see what works, what doesn't, what needs to change each time?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have to say, this is not the first time I've tried to do this. And so like I've hired people, they haven't been the right people, and then I've had to pull back, or my health issues came up and so it was like, oh, I couldn't keep the money coming in and that kind of thing. But what I'm doing now, like part of what I've done is I've got those systems in place, and like this is part of getting my brain on board with the
Yeah,
nerves of it all, is the
yeah,
systems. And then I've also raised my prices a little bit, if that makes sense. So then
yeah.
yeah, like it's and then I'm bringing on somebody part-time and sort of in my mind sort of starting out with like okay, we're going to do this for like 3 to 6 months or something like that. Even though it's my intention to keep them on, like I've had one assistant who has been with me since 2020, since 2019,
Wow.
2020 or something, but she only works a few hours a week and she does a few like simple tasks and that kind of thing. This is the first time I'm sort of hiring somebody to try and take on. Well, actually, I've done it, I've tried it before, but this time it's like, okay, I know what I'm looking for, I know what I'm putting in the advertisement,
Yeah,
and yeah, so there's a little bit of
that's
a trial and
exciting.
error, but yes, it's nerve-wracking, but also, like you said, you can't get past a certain level, and yeah, and I just like my dream business is something that runs where I work 10-ish, 15 hours a week. And so the only way
Yeah,
to do that is to be hiring people. And so like that's going to be part-time people and that kind of stuff to get me there.
100%. 100%. And also, like, being confident that, because I always say to business owners, you can hire the most intelligent, amazing person. But if you, as a business owners, don't set them up for success, you're always going to be involved. And that's where systems come in, because they can be great, but if there's no structure and SOPs, what they need to do, they'll always eventually come back to you. So that's really exciting. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And so for your stuff, like how do you get through, bust through that control freak side for you? Because I know there'll be a lot of people who feel the same way.
Honestly, it's still a work in progress. I'm not going to sit here and say I've
Okay.
fixed it, because I haven't. But I think what really helps is just one SOP, right? Because if you have a really good document of the process that you wanted to do, and you have clear instructions, this is the standard, this
Mm,
is what's not acceptable, this is the steps. Unless they're like blatantly not reading the SOP and not following it, it's going to be hard for someone not to do the job you want them. So I think SOPs, and I know it kind of, this buzzword kind of goes around and people are like, oh, are they that important? Are they not? They're important if they're actually used. If they're not used, they're just a waste of any other document, right? That sits on a Google Drive. So I think for me, it's really getting clear on the SOPs and making sure that it is actually what I want, and not just for the sake of writing a
mm,
document. And the more and more SOPs that I write, that's really how I want to run my business. I think it's going to be easier and easier to take myself out of the
mm.
control zone.
Yeah, definitely. For me, like I'm gonna have a period where I'm like checking in and seeing what they're creating, and like once they're okay
Yeah.
and I can see that they're got a handle on it or something, then I'm very happy for someone to take it and run with it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit of trust, right? Too, because you kind of have no choice but to trust them. And yes, they can do a really crappy job and you'd be disappointed, but unless we give that a go, we will never know. Like, we almost have to go through a few bad hires to know what we don't want, to bring us to the kind of jobs that we do want, and
Yes.
and and the people and the skills that we do need.
Quick break to tell you about Brave Coffee Connections, my free monthly Zoom for coaches and service-based business owners. In just 60 minutes, you'll reflect on Brave questions, connect in small groups, and finish with a visualization to set you up for success. It's not networking as usual, no awkward pitches, just real conversations that often lead to collaborations, referrals, and clients. Grab your free spot now at tiffanygstudios.com/connections. That's TIFFANYG for golf, STUDIOS.com/connections. I can't wait to see you there. Tell me then a little bit about how you got started in business and like what brave things you maybe had to do to get started. It might be this business, it could be a different business.
Oh, okay. So my backstory is a little bit different to the usual people in
You'd
my
be
position.
surprised.
They started in corporate.
Oh, right. Really?
Maybe. A lot of like I think business owners that I know have started in corporate world where I was like the complete opposite. My very first career was actually as a actress. I moved
Nice.
across the world to Vancouver in Canada from Ireland to become an actress. So that was my dream. I always grew up wanting to perform. So I went to Vancouver and I spent 4 years trying to make it as an actress in Vancouver. Lots of rejection, lots of no's, lots of going and doing auditions. Like I think I had like 74 auditions, if I'm correct, before I got my first yes,
Mm.
which is crazy. Like that's going for 74 interviews, like job
Yeah.
interviews, and being told no over and over again, and still being like showing up and being like, here
Mm.
I am. so but with that, because I had that as my main focus, obviously I had to still have a day job. I couldn't just live off not having any money. And when you audition, you don't get paid. You just audition. It's a job interview until you get that paid opportunity. So during the day, I would usually go for like I was like an admin assistant at temporary agencies. So what that means is one week, like I worked with an agency, and one week they would kind of send me to a law firm to cover whoever is on holiday or whoever was sick for that week. And then I would go to a construction company, and then I would go to, God, I've probably worked in like 25 different industries over the 4 years. And what I noticed when I was doing that was that how some companies like have three people and they work like unbelievable and they make $60,000 a month, and everyone knows what they're doing, everyone's on top of it. And then you go and see like how some companies have like 45 people and no one knows what they're doing. Like the business is failing financially, things are running like they're running around like headless chickens. And it made me start thinking like, what makes some companies successful and some companies are literally like headless chickens? And it all came down to operations and systems. And I was in an advantage though, because I was able to see the back end of so many different industries and what worked and what didn't. And that made me kind of think about, okay, systems, operations. And I started learning more, and I kind of started teaching myself like what's working, what's not, how to run a team that's successful versus a team that's not successful. And that's what made me kind of get into Next Day and building my own company. So long story short, I went from an actress to a completely different industry.
This is going to be probably a strange question, but do you find that all of those rejections and everything, did it make it easier to get started in business, or do you find you're less like the fear of no maybe doesn't hold you back as much because you kind of have it's like, oh, it's not like having to go through all those auditions. Do you find that at all, or?
I do. Honestly, it's helped me a lot. As soon as I started business, if I got told no, it was like, okay, like
Yeah.
that's fine. Like I didn't have that hurt when I started business with a few others at the same time that in my circle. And I saw the correlation of them getting rejected and how down it got them. And they almost needed like 2 weeks to get up. Where it's like, yeah, I still get hurt if I send, a project for 5K and they seem all in and then last minute they pull out. That's going to hurt a little bit, but I'm able to bounce back quickly. Like I'll swap, what is it? Wallow in self-pity. Is that the right word?
That can be the right word,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, like I'll feel sorry for myself for maybe 5, 6 hours, and then I wake up the next day and I'm like, okay, that's it, move on. Because I had
Yes.
to do it so many times for acting, and acting was a lot more cruel because when they said no to acting is because you were too tall, you were too skinny, your eyes were too brown. It was way more personal. Where with business, it's just they don't
Mm.
want my services. Like it kind of took it. The blow was a little bit easier because I was so used to getting rejected for me and stuff that I can't change. That for business, it was just making it easier because I just didn't take anything personal anymore.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, man, I think you're so, I mean, sorry, this is going to sound crazy to say, but it's like you're so lucky to have had that experience. That I've just often struggled with that whole, the fear of no. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
really come from corporate either. I worked in like universities and higher education and nonprofits here. And so hearing
Okay.
no in that context was fine because it was like for a business I was representing or something. But when I took on my
Yes.
own business and then all of a sudden, like for me, at first, like I took it way too personally. Not just because like my parents had a very successful business and I just felt like I should be doing better by now and just yeah, and I took the
Yeah.
no's too personally. And even now, like that fear of no, like I kind of have to play games with myself where it's kind of like, actually, what if a no felt exactly the same as a yes and I celebrated it and I like looked for it, and so that sort of helps
Yeah.
me to make some
You
movements.
know what? What helps me when I get down with no's, and I think this would be good, but also if you look at a no being like, okay, this door stayed closed for a reason because it's making room for the next client that is meant to be a yes. So I every time I'm like, okay, if this person said no, that's okay. That just means I have now this time that I thought I was going to be busy now free to take an even better project on. Do I know what's coming? No, but at least I'm open to the idea that it's the possibilities there, and that always helps me kind of get get the personal out of the nose and make it into positive.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's some great advice and a great way to look at things and all of that too. Yeah. So
Yeah, hopefully people can get some like if they get hurt over no, it's okay. It just makes room for the better and for the
mm,
good.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So then tell us a little bit more about, or not a bit more, but tell us a bit about what you have coming up in the next few months. Like what brave things do you have going on, depending on like what how long term of a planner you are or something.
So for me, really, I'm at the stage of life, I guess, where I like myself and my husband, we've been married for almost 3 years or 2 years, 3 years, 3 years, I think. I actually can't even remember. We've been traveling for like 2 years, so it's all confusing. But yeah, I we're getting to the stage where I kind of want to start a family. I want that next chapter in my personal life, and obviously with that, as potentially becoming pregnant later this year and whatnot, I need to think about the health of my business when I have to step away for six
Mm,
months to a year. So for me, really, the my main motivator this year is to get to the business to a stage where I can step away and for it to still run and the money to still come in. I don't want it to get to a stage where okay, I'm 8 months pregnant and I'm like okay, next day's going on pause and then I'll restart it again 6 months later. And I know some moms will be like that, like because they don't want that pressure while they're on maternity leave, whatever. Or for
mm,
me, it's like I want my business to keep running, and I want to put people that are I can trust to run it without me having to think
mm.
about it and be involved all the time. So, would you say that's brave? I don't know. I guess so.
I definitely do. I mean, that's the brilliant thing about bravery is that it comes in all shapes and sizes. And, you know, like sometimes the brave thing is like sending the awkward email or having the awkward conversation. Other times
Yeah.
it's the bigger stuff like, okay, I'm going to 10x my business and I want it to run without me being directly involved, which is also
Yeah.
like a dream of mine, but not so that I can have kids, just so that I can like lay on a beach somewhere.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. It's like we all have different goals, and no one's goal is better or smaller than the other. Like some
100%.
people want freedom, and their what freedom means to them is to be able to stop work at 1 p.m. on a Tuesday to pick up their kid from school. Where some people's freedom is going to Bali and Vietnam 4 times a year. So it's That's what I say. It's everyone's different, and like it's whatever makes you happy, just do it and not care about what other people think.
Yeah, yeah. That is the real benefit of like having your own business and being able to have a say in those things and that kind of thing too. So yeah, can
Yeah,
definitely see. Yeah.
absolutely.
So I 100% think that that is brave and all of that. Because I mean, whatever it is, it's something outside of your comfort zone and it's going to require growth. It's going to require, trusting people and, of course, having the systems like we talked about. But yeah.
Exactly, exactly. It's we what's brave for us might not be brave for the other person, but that doesn't matter, right? It's us we have to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. Say in the next, I don't know, few weeks, like what's like your first step other than hiring someone, which you've done? So what's
Yeah.
the next step that you're taking on that big plan?
Um, it's really to solidify a signature offer. Like that's something that's been on my mind for probably about a year and a half. And I've been wanting to solidify as one signature offer and be known for that because I think up until now, like when clients, and I've been lucky enough that I've had clients come to me referrals on a consistent basis, that I haven't had more than like 1 week where I like didn't have new projects to work on. So I haven't had that space in my mind to really like, okay, think about the next stage. It's just been very like, okay, project next, off board, next project on board, do the project off board. It's been very consistent, which I'm very grateful for, of course. But I want to get to a stage where I can like take a step back, and obviously hiring a team helps. But to get to a stage where I can get a signature offer and it just be a machine, because up until now, the projects I take on can be very custom, and it's very hard to systemize a custom project because they're all different, you know. Right now, I'm working with a gym franchise from Ireland to get their onboarding flow set up for like 10,000 gym members. So that's a very very specific custom project, and it's going to be probably a once off. I'm not going to do it again. So I just need to. That's my plan: is a signature offer that I can systemize the hell out of it, so I can step back and the results are still there, no matter if I'm involved like 100% or not.
Gosh, that's such an amazing step to take to just, I know from my own experiences, like, because I'm such a generalist and I've been able to do so many different things, and somebody says, "Oh, can you do this?" And it's like, "Oh, yeah, I can." And but I've got mine down to, I wouldn't say a signature offer, but in terms of like the services side of my business, got two or three different offers, and I'm starting to see as more people go through them how much more systemized it can be, and just
Yeah.
templates and things just to make things easier and stop for me, it's the overthinking.
Yeah. 100%. And overthinking comes from having too many options. Like in terms of like we give too many options to people. So then our brain has to always think of something new to solve that problem. Where if it's a set like problem, here's the solution, I think it'll help not overthink as well. Like I'm definitely the same as you. I overthink because everything is new and everything requires new energy. So that's what I'm looking forward to, kind of getting away from that a little bit and more systemizing it. So it's like a rinse and repeat process.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely for me, I mean, I have extra overthinking in terms of like, oh, do I send this to the client? Do I follow up? How do I get the stuff from them? All of that kind of those systems that can just minimize all of that. Just, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting all that in place.
Yeah. Yeah. Because once you have that in place, you can be like, okay, this is the onboarding questionnaire. This is everything that I need from this client in one go. And that will help you not have to make those decisions later on. Like, when do I send this? Do I send this? At least
Yeah.
then it's just one process and it goes when you don't have to think about it anymore.
Absolutely. Okay, so thank you so much for everything that you've shared with us today. Of course, all of your links and everything will be in the show notes, but for people who are like me, who are like, screw the show notes, I just want to go straight to somewhere right now, where's the best place for people to connect with you and find out more about you?
I would say Instagram is probably my number one. It's at nextday.executive, I believe. I recently changed it, so I think it's still the same. But yeah, that's probably the best place to find me. I post content on a regular basis, and I share also my life about travel and how I'm able to like you travel, like I've been traveling full time for the last 2.5 years. So I share the systems that allow me to do that. So that's probably the best place to. And if anyone has any questions about absolutely anything, message me. I'm an open book. I will respond to you within like 5 hours. So
Yeah, and it's definitely worth getting in touch with Olga. I just have to say, like from my own perspective, I've been in business for over a decade and or nearly 15 years now, and there was stuff that you said that I was like, oh yeah, I should be doing that, and oh, that's a better way of doing things, and oh, that takes the awkwardness out of this interaction, and just yeah, definitely worth checking out. So yeah.
amazing. Well, thank you. I'm glad that helped. And the community as well, if anyone wants to get like ideas of how to systemize your business better, I have a community, free community on School, and I put weekly lessons in there, Q&As every week for free. It's really helpful for those business owners that just kind of want to get out of the fight or flight mode and get into a systemized business where they can feel confident and have that space to make the decisions they need to make at a CEO level.
Oh, I love that. Just before we wrap up, is there any last words of wisdom or anything, if you don't think like takeaways or something for anybody listening?
I would always say it's better to do something that's on your mind and fail at it than get to 80, 90 years old and then regret it. Because when you get at 80, 90 years old and you regret it, there's nothing you can do about it. There's absolutely nothing you can do but just wish you did it. So for me, it's like, even if it's scary, just do it. If you fail, at least you tried. And at least you're not going to get to 90 and wish you had given it a go. That's my always my biggest advice. Even if it's scary, do it, because
Yeah.
it's better to do it and find out instead of not knowing.
Oh my gosh, I love that actually. Oh, I needed that actually as I start the year. So thank you so much, Olga. This has been
Of
an amazing
course.
conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. And I hope I was able to inspire and have more bravery out there.
Thanks for listening today. If you're ready to grow through deeper connections, join me for Brave Coffee Connections. It's my free monthly Zoom call for coaches and service providers. No pitches, just real conversations that spark collaborations, referrals, and new clients. Plus, you'll leave with clarity, inspiration, and one brave action for the month ahead. Save your free spot at tiffanyGstudios.com/connections. That's TIFFANYG for golf, STUDIOS.com/connections. I can't wait to see you there.